everybody, it's Joy with joyslife.com, and today I'm going to make a card using this Best of Pixar Cricut cartridge, and we're going to make Mr. Wonderful. I'm making this for my Mr. Wonderful, so we're going to make a little card, and we're also going to use this starburst here that's on the page with dash running. He's dashing. And I thought that would make a nice, cool little starburst kind of POW background for the card. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got all this paper already picked out, and I'm using for the skin tone color of Mr. Wonderful here, this Blush Blossom, I believe it's a Blossom, I believe that's the name of it, from Stampin' Up. I don't think they make this exact color anymore, but what I suggest when you're doing skin tones is just going into your local scrapbook store and trying to find some good shades that work right for you, because it's very hard to get a good skin tone color, but I know a lot of people ask me that. Okay, let's get started cutting. The very first thing I want to cut is this black part right here, and all we have to do is find the Mr. Incredible button, and it's right there, and press that one. I have this set at 4 inches for the size, and then we'll just press cut. Okay, we have Mr. Incredible's shadow cut out, and if you look at it really close, you can see it has these little score marks here that are really, really helpful when it comes to putting in all the little pieces, like that when you do that later, or rather, those parts there. So that'll help us line those parts up, which is great. Now, I've gone ahead and cut out this layer 1, the black pieces, because I already had the black on the mat, and they're pretty small, as you can see. The black paper that I was using is really, really thick, so I actually used the multi-cut function on my Cricut to cut it out twice. That made it a little bit easier. Well, let's go ahead, now that I've got the red paper, and do this one. So we just have layer 1 pressed, which I've already got, and then the Mr. Incredible, and then we press cut, and there, wow, it sped up this time. It's really ready to go. Sometimes we have to wait, but that'll go ahead and cut out, and then next we're going to load our orange paper, and we'll do that one, and yellow, and do that. I like how in these new booklets, it kind of gives you an idea for the colors and the pictures. So you don't have to follow that, of course, but it is helpful. Sometimes if you just kind of need to figure out what layer is what, because the black there, it really helps me to be able to see, oh, okay, if I make that black, then that can be a background. And then the red, you know, obviously that's his suit, but sometimes it helps you, like with the belt. It's hard to tell really sometimes what piece that's going to be, but there you can see it's his belt. It's a lot better than if everything were printed out in black or gray. Okay, let's go ahead and unload that. That's all the red I need. Okay, and there we are. I'll just go ahead and peel that off. My mat's not very sticky, so I don't have much trouble with things staying stuck down. I don't need to use a scraper or little spatula or anything to get it up. Okay, so I'll get that off. We'll load our orange paper and get going with that. Okay, I've got the orange paper all loaded there on the mat. So what we need to do now is press layer 3, and we're going to cut this orange little belt piece. So I'm just going to go right here and I'll press layer 3. I'm going to leave my multi-cut on. I've got that on because I have some thick paper on here again, and I want it to really cut it out well. And then that's Mr. Incredible. It'll come up in the window, and then we'll press cut and get going. There we go. And I've still got it set at 4 inches. I'm not going to mess with that, because I want it all to cut out just right. Now we've got the yellow on the mat, so we're going to cut layer 3 here, the yellow part. And what we need to do is hit the shift, because everything down this column here and down this column here need a shift, and that too, and we haven't done that part yet. So layer 3, which we had on last time, plus shift, and the Mr. Incredible button equal that. So here we are with layer 3, we still have that done. I have to press shift, and then Mr. Incredible. And then you'll see it come up in the window. There we go. Alright, so let's hit cut. Alright, now all we have to do is press shift in the Mr. Incredible with none of the function keys on. Okay, so we'll turn off the layer 3, and now we've got a shift, Mr. Incredible, and now his face will come up. We've already got my little peachy colored paper in here for his little skin tone. So, I'm just going to hit cut, and that'll cut him right out. Now we're going to cut out a little starburst from the little page where dash is. So what I've done is press the icon button right there, and then I press dash, he's there, and we'll press cut. I set it at 4.5 inches now. Before we were cutting at 4 inches. Uh-oh. Problem! If you have that problem, just hit stop. I'm going to unload the paper. Oh, don't you hate it when that happens? I'm just going to turn my paper around. My mat is not very sticky, and that is part of the problem, that it is trying to it's letting my paper move all around. So we'll just hit repeat last. That'll bring up the starburst again. I'll make sure I have it down pretty well. We hit cut. And now that solves that. Okay, there is our starburst. Here is our Mr. Incredible. Cute, so cute, so cute, so cute. Love it. All right, so let's get him all with all his pieces and parts stuck to him, and he'll be ready to go and be incredible. I just realized that I need to still cut out a few more things, so we're going to press layer 2 and shift to get this. So I've got the blue paper in here. There's layer 2. I've got shift on. Now we'll press Mr. Incredible, and that'll give us the little hand pieces that'll come up. And I've also taken it back to 4 inches. We were at 5 inches when we did the starburst. Now what I'm doing is cutting out the shadow feature here so I can have a background shadow for the starburst that we did. So that's shadow plus shift and then the button. Are some of you looking at this like I am and thinking, holy cow, look at all these pieces. How are we ever going to do this? Well, we're just going to take it one step at a time. It really starts to look like something, whoops, pretty quickly. You see, just laying that on there already gives it so much definition. So I'm going to use my Zig 2-way glue pen and just start gluing these things together. I might also use my little Xyron to help run some of the tiny pieces through. So let me start assembling that. Well, I've got my little booklet here, so I'll use that to help me get an idea of where everything should go. And I'm just going to use my Zig little 2-way glue pen. And we'll just put some glue on the back of this. Whoa, look, a lot came out. That comes from storing it upside down, which is good most of the time because you want the glue to come out. Not quite like that. That's a little overkill. This is why I keep trusty paper towels near me. See my mess? Mess! Now I'm just going to use this little quick stick pen here, and I'm pushing out the little pieces I don't need with one end. The other end has an adhesive in it. I don't really use that much though. It's for picking little pieces up, which would actually be very helpful in a situation like this. Now I'm just putting his belt on. So that is the piece right here. There we go. Looking good. Now just use my ATG gun to put a little glue on the back of this, and I'm just going to stick those two pieces together. Mr. Incredible is as done as I am going to get him. His eyes are not perfect, but that's okay. I'm happy with them, and he's going to look really cute. Now I'm going to finish up this card and show you how the finished product looks. To finish my card up, I decided to make a sentiment. This is to my Superman. And all I did was use sentiments from my father and son, and I think mother and daughter as well, stamps, and then I just put them together. And these are just some of my clear stamps. There's the block that I use. I use a clear block to do it, and these are still all inked up. But you just put them in order to make whatever sentiment you want. So I could have done to my Superwoman too, though it would have made very little sense with Mr. Incredible. Well, I hope that you had a good time watching Mr. Incredible come to life. And now all I'm going to do is fold a piece of paper over, stick this to it, and oh, you know what? The reason I did this way was because I had already stuck Mr. Incredible down, and I couldn't get my stamp in there anymore because the stamp block is square. So I'll just glue that down so it says to my Superman, and we'll be ready to go. So I'll just fold over a sheet of paper or a nice piece of cardstock and stick this whole thing to it and have a great little card. Well, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope to see you again soon at joyslife.com. Bye!